Hi again. Welcome to this is I guess the third now episode, I believe. I don't know. I lose count of these fun things. All right. Third episode of the Music Prose Prose podcast. I'm going to spell that every time. I think that's going to be my thing. All right. I am Crystal Cluley, your host, lifelong musician and wannabe comedian, broadcasting from the beautiful Blueberry Suite here at Studio 770 in Berea, California. Excited to be here again with my friend Cori Jacobs. We did not get a long enough conversation last time. We didn't get to have the things we wanted to address in our last piece, so I thought we would try again. Although you never know, we could end up having 5, 10 episodes with Cori. Who knows? Because Cori and I can, yep. So we'll see what happens. Once again, my guest today for the second time, woo, Mr. Cori Jacobs. OneMasterFader.com. Cori is a keyboardist, a composer, a producer. Oh, what else are you, man? You do all sorts of things. You wear lots of hats. Can you tell us?
I'm black.
No, I had no idea.
I know how to drive. I have my license.
What?
I have a passport. I have a vehicle. I have my own place. So does that make me a musician? Because if I
I'm not sure.
they
I'm not
they
sure.
usually say that a musician without a girlfriend is homeless.
You're not homeless. You've been in the same place for a long time.
A long
Your studio's been in
rent
the same
control.
place. Oh, sweet. Oh, lucky you.
Rent control. But I engineer and play a little guitar. I've been really working on my guitar.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what's been occupying. Just learning and growing, and just there's not enough time on this earth to learn all the music. So who's got who's got the time to be running around doing anything else but making art?
Oh. You know what? I wasn't going to bring it up this fast, but that actually is a great segue into one of the things that I wanted to discuss. I love that statement. But in our last conversation, when we were talking about making a living and how we do that, between big gigs and whatever else, you mentioned doing Lyft or Uber or DoorDash, things like that. So those little odd jobs. And I wanted to actually bring that back up because we're, I think, of a different mindset as far as that goes. I personally would rather be gigging than anything else. I don't want to have to go, door dashing and walking dogs. But if I had to choose, I would choose dogs. I love animals. Anyway, that's a whole other podcast. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, I take as many cover gigs as I can get away with, and I teach. Teaching isn't my favorite thing in the whole world. I love most of my students that I've had over the years, and it's rewarding to be able to teach the next generation that joy of music. But it's still, to me, music related, right? So I don't want to have to do those other things. You seem to have a different mindset, as opposed to cover gigs. You prefer to wait, shall I say, or between bigger gigs with major artists, or
between gigs with major artists and things that pay the bills, I would rather drive Lyft, because as a writer, I literally promote new songs that I've done to like everybody who gets them, like, hey, I'm a musician. Oh my God, you play piano? Yeah, you want to hear? Oh my God, yeah, play a song. And then I'll play the song. Oh my God, that was way better than I thought. And I've had people say, I actually like that. And because they think, oh, you do ride share. You can't be good.
Right.
You can't, like, how are you? But you can't look at the why should you? Well, if you were really good, why are you doing this? Because the layman doesn't understand.
No,
they
don't.
Have no concept of you. And I'd hate to make this juxtaposition, but you have to look at the crackheads that you know, the people that are drug addicted, will sacrifice anything.
Do I know any?
For that next hit. They will steal from their family. They'll get an odd job. They will They will. It doesn't matter. They want that next hit, and so do I.
So I do know a crackhead.
Yeah. The hit I'm talking about it's a different hit, but it's the same concept. It's like,
Sure.
oh, I'll do rideshare as long as I'm able to go home and make music. So I'm like, oh, if I could do 5 hours in a day, take 5 hours off, 5 or 6 hours off, go back home and do music, then do another 5 hours at night. You know, I could survive. Then I do that. Oh, I got a gig. Ooh, don't have to drive. Oh, I got another gig. Ooh, don't have to drive. So it's the same thing. Plus, the mindset is when I'm dealing with music, I'm in my own world. When I'm dealing with people, if I don't like you, I tell you to get out.
That's true. You just told me a story recently about telling somebody to get out of your car.
Oh my God. And that's a whole nother podcast. But but I actually love driving. I love my car, although I want another one. That's what you do. You whatever. Was it Living Single? And he got a gig at Trader Joe's. And he was on the cash register at Trader Joe's, and he was there for like a couple of years. And then some people recognize him. Next thing you know, it goes viral on YouTube. And then Tyler Perry reaches out to him, gives him a gig. No more Trader Joe's. So you can't be ashamed.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I was not suggesting that there was any shame to it.
Right? No,
I'm all for survival skills, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And I agree that, it is like crack. It's like that next hit, that next high, that euphoria, right, that you get. For me, the euphoria is more with performing. And for you, is it more the creating?
Yeah, it's the
creation
You know what?
process, the
I
writing.
think this is music is the only substance where you can get the first high every time. Mm-hmm. But with the substance, the first time you get high, then you do another hit, and it's and then you do another,
and then you need more and more.
To try to get back up to that first one, and you never do. But when you, and I was just talking to this really dope scriptwriter, and he was just telling me how he's writing the script, and he's like tearing up, and he's feeling all these emotions that are going into the script, and he's just like, I was like, dude, I understand, and you get nervous. You start like, oh, is this gonna come out? Is this gonna get done? And it's the most beautiful thing in the world. So I understand.
Yeah. There's still the nerves. There's still the excitement every time. I've been performing so long. I mentioned in my introductory episode that I've been singing in bars since I was too young to be there. Been on stage in some capacity almost all my life.
The thing about you is I've seen you many, and played in bands with you. And I was like, this woman loves it. You could see it on her face. It's not like, not another day at the office. She doesn't roll her eyes. She's,
No, I don't know how to phone it in. I don't know how to phone it in.
The phone don't work. The cell phone is not charged.
I am literally excited every time, but I also still get nervous, even as many years as I've been doing it, because I care about giving a performance, right? I did a show a couple years back, and towards the end of the night, it was a cover band thing. Where were we? I don't remember. I want to say somewhere in Torrance, or I don't know, but it was a big place. But towards the end of the night, it had pretty much emptied out, and there was one table left. And those people, they tipped me so much, which was so nice. And we're still friends on Facebook. But you know what they did? They came up to me at the end of the night, and they thanked me profusely, saying, I can't believe that you gave us the same show as you would have given a full room. And to me, that's what it's about. I don't care if there's 2 people in the audience or if there's 2,000 people in the audience. It's about giving that performance the best that I can, no matter what, right? And anybody who's there deserves the show. Anybody, right?
That's true love.
It's about making that connection with whoever it is.
That's true love.
Right?
I will never forget rehearsing. Oh, this is before you. Oh, no. It was before Coachella. Remember we did Coachella with Sly. We also did Zanzibar and Little Temple. It was 5 a.m. We were supposed to start rehearsal at noon, but 5 a.m. I called George. Okay, George, we're ready for you. This man gets up, takes the mic, and we start.
He's talking about George Clinton.
George. I almost forgot.
And we all just do that. Just throw it out. George Clinton. George.
He gets up, takes the mic, and we start singing his song. This man is singing like we're at Carnegie Hall the Staples Center or SoFi Center, and I was just looking at him like, it's 5 a.m.
Yeah. Right.
That's true love.
It is.
That's true love.
It is.
If you don't have that with your spouse, then try it with creativity.
What spouse?
or who your
That's
partner.
a different podcast too.
Oh, that's another. That's true.
That's a whole other
That's another. Yeah.
conversation.
But the art is everything. It's
I agree. Yeah.
Whatever made this world was an artist. It's something that created. It was like, oh well, we just can't have one tree. We need to have several different kind of trees. I just thought of another tree. Oh, dude, I think I'll do that with an animal. Fish. There's not one kind, because the whatever created this world was like had some things going on. There was like, how you have a horse with all these stripes on it? And then you have this other animal that does nothing but eat ants. He's got a long snout that comes to a point, and
it's pretty weird.
Somebody was like thinking, like, what can I do today?
Okay, I'm gonna try to rein you in.
Oh yeah, ring me in. All right, are we getting off? All right, we're getting off topic.
We're getting off topic again, but that's okay. That's why it's so much fun to have you here. We're gonna end up having to do 10 episodes with Cori. Maybe we should just turn it into the Crystal and Cori podcast. My goodness. Okay, well, you just mentioned spouse. And that was actually another thing that I wanted to ask about. Do you find that it makes it difficult to have relationships, your love for music and creativity? Do you have difficulty balancing that with a personal life and having actual relationships?
I look at my idols, Louis Armstrong, married 4 times. It took him 4 times, and he got a wife that took him to his thing. And I look at other people, and the relationship with an artist is somebody who's a free spirit. Mm-hmm. And to be with a free spirit, you have to have an understanding of what you're dealing with, what you're getting in with. This person is in the relationships that I've been in, it's like music is A1. You will never surpass it. You can try, but it's not going to happen. There's music just makes me, oh my God. Oh, is this music just makes me reach the top every time. I mean, every single time. Like it will wear out. But
it's true. And I experience, well, I don't know, because I've never been a man. But I feel like it's a little harder for us women sometimes, because there are these stupid stereotypical social norms and roles that women are supposed to play, and we are not supposed to be the strong one, and we're not supposed to be necessarily the main breadwinner, and I'm not supposed to be wanting to go out and be the center of attention and be admired by God knows who or what, right? You know what I mean? And it takes a very strong man to be okay with me doing what I do and not wanting to do anything else.
Prime example.
That's why I'm single.
Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats. Alicia Keys married Swiss Beats. Alicia Keys did the Super Bowl halftime show with Usher. Usher was all over that woman. She was a consummate professional. She put the show on.
I missed this show, so.
Oh, it's on YouTube. And everybody was like, Usher, that's a married woman. But Swiss Beats, now check this man out. This is a man who understands. That's my girl. She's up there doing her thing. Did you see how beautiful? She played this piano that was amazing, and she had this dress that was the tapestry was just like waving out in the back behind her. Awesome. He was focusing on.
Like I really missed a good show.
I
gotta check this out.
It's on YouTube.
All right,
you can find it.
I will go find it.
Yeah. And he wasn't looking at, hey man, that's my girl. He understands she's a performer.
Exactly. Well, it is a performance. I also don't date people that I meet on gigs for the most part, because they see that performance side of me and they think that I'm like that all the time. And I'm not. I'm not always that person when I go home. I'm the kind of person, I'm the nerd that will DVR Jeopardy. Go home and put on my cat slippers and watch Jeopardy that I missed, right? Like
you have a component lifestyle. I'm the nerd. I like to read, I like to hike, I like to work out.
So it's not all that persona all the time.
It can't be.
Right.
Because the energy that we receive, exactly.
Yes.
We have to have a I like martial arts, and I like deep conversations, and I like meeting people, and then all of that, and I like living life. Like I want to not bungee jump. I want to skydive. But all of this
Bye.
stuff.
Yawn.
Oh, you want to skydive?
No.
Come on.
No, I will never jump out of a plane as long as it is actually still functioning. If it's no longer functioning, maybe we can talk. But
If it's not okay, I'm gonna jump out of this plane because hasn't taken off yet. But you all of these things, art imitates life. So if you aren't living life, how are you supposed to make art? You have to take the risk, and but I write and I create, and it's a thing where it's like, oh my God, I will go out and I will say to myself, I wonder what my energy is going to attract today. What is it going to bring to me today? And I meet people who are randomly just smiling at me. Animals and dogs will just like come walking over to me. I'm just like, okay, my energy must be good. But then I run into some you know what? Okay, you know what comes after A. Okay, I run into those.
A blank blank H blank blank.
Right. But it's okay. You if everything, I don't look for perfection. I look for balance.
There's that word again. That word. Oh my goodness. All right. So that helps. Let's see. Mental health was one of the things we wanted to talk about. Mental health and relationships. And so I think we've kind of
segued into that.
Well, I don't know. I feel like in a way that's almost covered because what we were just discussing goes along with the whole idea of keeping yourself mentally stable and healthy enough, right, to keep doing what you do.
There's a book called The Four Agreements, and I'm going to
remember that. I love that book.
Attempt to remember all four. Don't take anything personal. Be impeccable with your word. And always speak your truth, or don't take anything personal. Be impeccable. We have to Google it. But then there's 4 agreements. I break them all the time. And the don't take anything personal means nothing personal.
Yeah, that one is the toughest one for me. Yeah, it's hard to not think.
Driving, trying to get somewhere, and the car's going too slow, and you want road rage. Anger only comes when you deny the truth, when you deny the moment. That's when you get angry. Nobody gets angry for no reason. Well,
no, but I mean, for me, it's also tied into things like just the feeling of rejection. And we musicians and artists and creative types, we experience a lot more of that, I think, than the average person because we're constantly putting something out there and wanting people to like it or not, right? Well, I want this song to sell. And it's not that we create it for that purpose, but we want it to do well, right? And go somewhere. Or I want that gig that I just didn't get that some other girl got instead. And then I'm hurt. And I'm, not hurt per se, but you know what I'm saying. Disappointed, bummed out, like, well, what could I have done differently? And then it can spiral into this whole thing down the rabbit hole, right? What's wrong with me? And so.
But when you ask yourself what's wrong with me because this didn't happen, back up a little bit and go, okay, I didn't get this gig. What is the truth in that? What is the truth of me being rejected? What is the truth is,
or am I even being rejected, or is it just a simple matter of the other person had something that I did not, that was more to the whoever the hirer's liking, and right
that's the truth,
and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me.
So you already get it.
Right. But that is the hardest thing to accept in that moment.
In that moment, of course.
Right.
But you already get it. When you accept the truth.
Accepting.
If there's truth, why is there anger? Anger is denial of, I don't want this to be the truth. I want this to be the truth. But do we have the authority to choose? We look, instead of looking for what we want, let's look for balance. Can we balance this out? Okay, how can I balance this out? Really fast story. I lost my phone at the market, and I was doing this Tony Robbins 21-day thing. And he said, if something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I do to fix it? Yeah, Tony Robbins is.
I haven't heard in a while.
He's got a really big cartoon face.
I know who he is.
Face like a watermelon.
I just haven't heard about him in a while.
Yeah. Interesting dude. So
No doubt.
I lost my phone in the market, and I said, well, Tony Robbins said, what can I do to fix this and make it be fun? So I said, I think I'll go get an iPhone. I had an Android at the time. But before I left, I gave the lady out in front of the market everything I had in my wallet. Here, because I need money right now. I gave it away. That you want, you have to give away. So I was driving home, and I said, okay, I can go to the phone store by my house, or I can go to the phone store. There's one. So I go in there. I go, hey, I want an iPhone. They do? Okay, we give them my information. And they say, why do you want an iPhone? I said, because I lost mine at the market, and I just want to get another one. And they say, we have your phone. I was like, no, you don't, because I just lost it at the market. No, we do. We don't. You don't. I had lost it at the market. The guy comes out, holds up my phone, taps the screen, my picture. Where did you get that? Somebody brought it in.
Somebody turned it in. Awesome.
What are the chances of me driving to the same store that somebody drove in when I was going to go to another store?
Yeah.
That is surrendering and say, how can I make this fun? That was the funnest thing in the world. Great story.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had a similar weird experience the other night. I had a gig that I had actually forgotten about until Friday. I shouldn't say that out loud. Okay, it was in my calendar. It just wasn't on my whiteboard. I have two calendars. I have the one in my phone, the calendar on my phone, and then I have a whiteboard on my fridge. And it wasn't on the whiteboard. But my pianist mentioned to me we were on a gig together Friday, and he's like, yeah, we're doing this on Sunday. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Oh, my gosh. Okay. So I go to the gig, and I didn't really promote it. It's a restaurant thing, and they have their reservations and their whole, So I, of course, say this is where I'm going to be, but I don't super promote it. Mm-hmm. But we take a break, and we're sitting outside because the bar area is full. So we're sitting outside, and it was in Laguna Beach. The Laguna Beach trolley comes by. Mm-hmm. And then I start hearing, Crystal, Crystal, Crystal. And I'm like, what? One of my student families was on that bus that I hadn't seen in over a year. They were former students. They're not currently taking lessons with me. And they were on that bus at that moment in time, right?
What are the chances?
I walk outside for a break. The bus comes by right then. And it's, what?
It makes you think.
Reconnection, I think we're all connected. We're all, right?
Right. We're connected to things we probably don't want to be connected to.
Oh, Richard, our fabulous engineer here. Our fabulous, wonderful engineer here at Studio 770, Richard Hurst, has found us the 4 agreements.
Can they see that?
No. We have to say it. Be impeccable with your word.
Do not take anything personally.
Do not make assumptions.
Always do your best.
Always.
Break them all the time. Especially that last one, I get lazy.
Do you?
Sometimes I get lazy. But
is it really lazy though, or is it just you're giving the best of what you have at that moment, what you have available to give?
Well,
because that's how I see it.
In the moment, but sometimes I'm like,
right?
I'll get a brief, and it's doing like 3 hours, and I'm trying to mix, and I'm like, I don't have time to sit here and EQ this the way. I'll just do this. I'll just put a lot of compression on it. But I realize sometimes I think one of the best words that we can say when somebody asks us to do something is no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Dude. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's another conversation. That's been a really tough one for me. I was in survival mode for so long, a few years back. It's taken me a long time to learn that I don't have to say yes to every single gig. I can say no. I can be choosy, right? But it was tough. No, you want me where, when, right now, here, there? Okay, I got to do this.
Because we're entrepreneurs, and we feel like, oh, okay, this is how I'm eating right now, so I got to take that. I got to take this. I got to take that.
Yeah. I was back to work not less than a week after my mom died. Like, I pull up my boots and I got to go. And I realize now that probably wasn't wise because I didn't really deal with what I needed to at that moment and the grief and everything else. I just was like, okay, well, that happened and it sucked. And I was sad and I cried, but now I have to pull up my boots and get back to work and do my thing because my life is still going, right? And it didn't hit me until probably a few months later when things started cropping up out of nowhere that would upset me.
What a lot of musicians and producers do when they don't want to do something is they outprice themselves. Like, I'll do it. You know what? For you, I'll do it for $6,000. Oh, it's out of my price range. When you get it, call me.
Right.
And then there's some things you just do.
Wait, is that why some musicians have turned me down for gigs?
They outprice
that I
themselves.
thought paid well, and they're like, yeah, that's not enough for me. I'm like, really? Okay.
So you some it all
I guess they
depends
just
on the
didn't wanna work
situation,
with me.
but you can never. You're so funny. I always ask and find out what are the perks of this gig. If I'm not going to make the money, I need to either be meeting somebody, or somebody's got to be there that can further my career, or I'm going to be playing with someone else in the band. That's why I always say, who's playing drums, who's playing bass, who's playing all the other instruments. Oh, I want to play with that person because I don't want them to hear me play.
Yes.
And if they're doing the gig for cheap, then and I do the gig for cheap, then okay, it's a networking thing. Then when I find a big gig, so yeah.
Right. And then there's that balance thing too, though, right? Because we don't want to be, we want to be working, right? We want to be doing our thing, but we also don't want to be undervalued. That's a whole other
Exactly.
thing, right?
Exactly. There's a story of a couple of friends of mine. I don't know if you. I don't think you met Daryl Finnis. He told me a story. Him and
No, I
Dorian
haven't met
Holly.
Daryl yet.
They used to sing with Rod Stewart. And they were on a plane with Rod Stewart. Should I be saying? Can we bleep this out? Maybe I shouldn't tell this story. But
Well,
but
we're going to run out of time anyway.
Oh,
but-
okay,
but
okay, good.
Sadly, we're going to be out of time shortly here,
All
so
right.
we got to get rolling. But
We're not gonna say that story.
we'll save that for another
Right,
time.
right. I gotta check with them.
I've got Sly stories. We've got
Oh
Sly
yeah,
stories.
I've got Sly stories.
You weren't there when I went to his apartment the one time when he melted his phone.
He melted
He
it.
melted his phone. Oh yeah, I've got stories.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast in and of
super
itself.
quick. He got his phone wet, and he thought that he could just dry it by. I swear, it's just, oh God, it's hysterical. He put it on a paper towel in a skillet on the stove.
Oh, that's funny.
It was.
But they say you're supposed to put it in rice.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean,
Did he at least have rice in the? No. Oh, okay, that's
No.
hilarious.
just a cell phone, and then when I get in, so I'm calling him because I'm supposed to meet him. It was a gated place, right? And I'm calling him from the gate, and I can't get an answer. And finally, somebody freaking lets me in, and I get in there, and he's giggling. He's like, "Look what I did! Look what I did!" But the phone was face up at the time, so I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He flipped it over, and it was all melted. I'm like, "Oh my
Oh,
God."
that's hilarious.
It was funny. And then he asked me how to run his dishwasher because I guess he'd never done that before either.
That's an interesting individual.
I consider that a side job to the gig, right? Teaching him how to work
Man,
his
I
dishwasher.
did. I ran errands, got food, did
Right.
everything just to be around.
Right.
That
Just to
type of
be in
creativity,
that
that type of energy. It
world,
was
right.
man, and I've learned so much. I saw glimpses of him writing, just glimpses, because he's the type of person who likes to write with no one in the room. He gets into himself, but if he's used to you and he's comfortable, then you start to see glimpses of it. And that was, and what's impressed me the most about it, he knows music theory,
Oh,
all of it.
I didn't know that. He knows theory too.
Yeah.
I love theory.
I would never.
I'm such a nerd. I love theory, but
Were you? Oh, you weren't at that rehearsal. We were rehearsing, and he was like, "Cori, every chord you're playing is a minor third off. Move everything up a minor third." I'm like, wait, okay, so if you move anything up a minor third, you're changing keys.
you're transposing. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
transposing. So I moved everything up a minor third, and he said, yeah. And I listened, and I was like, I just looked at this. What? And he wasn't even looking at the keyboard. He was just kind of standing there shaking his hands and just can hear it.
Right.
This is your biggest asset.
Oh, absolutely.
Before music theory was on paper, it was in your head.
Yeah.
Now people have learned
You've
how to
complained
decipher.
to me about my ears at times.
I do, because you hear all kind of stuff like that's not right.
No, that's not the right chord. No, this one should be minor.
Well, in the moment, that chord was right.
All right. We're running out of time yet again. We do this every time. Yeah, we're just gonna have to keep coming back and have more conversations with Cori. All right. In the meantime, thank you guys for tuning in and checking us out. You can leave us likes and comments and subscribe to my YouTube channel, all that fun stuff. And Cori, onemasterfader.com.
I also type in One Master Fader on YouTube and on Instagram. Cori Hypothesis, Cori.
I was just gonna say, better spell that because
Hypothesis. If you don't know how to spell hypothesis, do your best. On
well,
Google.
there's
a Y
say,
in there
there's
somewhere.
this
In
whole
that,
Google
yeah.
thing.
There's a Y, HY, hypothesis.
And Studio770.com.
Studio 770 something with our world-renowned engineer, Rich.
Shout out to Richard over there.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Keep learning and listening, and we'll see you next time with Music Pros.